It's the alphabet. Look, numbers quit. It is what it is. When I started this, I wanted to do something with my friend who ain't as serious as me. Something that we both can do. He likes to debate. He likes to argue. But he doesn't like to get anything too serious. Whenever we talk about serious things, he gets all upset, goes to insults, and it ain't what it was for him. So we did something peaceful, something nice, something calm. But he's gone now. So I'm gonna do what I really wanted to do. What I always wanted to do was just be honest, be real. Call myself the alphabet because I can talk about anything from A to Z, anything. And it's because I'm ADD, I'm a huge sponge, I absorb knowledge. So I want to be real about something. To anybody on this planet that is shocked by any allegation that has happened to Diddy, Bill Cosby, R. Kelly, or any of these men in power, you are completely ignorant and obsolete, and you refuse to care or watch or think about anything outside of your own self. My bad, this ain't a different day. My daughter woke up and she peed all over me. Potty train. But to understand what I'm saying, we have to start off with understanding what people think power is. And power, normally throughout the history of humankind, is the ability to be above the law, to create inhumane acts, to do something inhumane and get away with it, right? And an example of that is that the laws originally were like a baseline of what was considered to be humane. So, no stealing, no killing, no raping, no murdering. Um, you know, governmentalized laws, the laws inside the government change, but we're not getting into that conversation right now. What we're going to talk about is what power is. And what power is to most people is to be able to do whatever you want, whenever you want, however you want it, and nothing to happen to you. And so what happens is that we have multiple formats of power here in America. We have wealth, we have fame, we have notoriety, we have connections, we have all these things. And Diddy was a person who had wealth, fame, notoriety, and connections. So, excuse me. So how does a man who has all these things prove to himself he's powerful? He breaks the law. And he breaks the law in multiple ways over and over and over and over and over again. Now, we can get into conversations on why this has happened, the mindset behind it, but it's obvious. There are very few men who get power, who get wealth, who get fame, who get notoriety, who get public and governmental connections, and do not do inhumane acts. Very few men and very few people. It's not something that you should sit here and be befuddled by. You should think anybody who has power, who has a large, obscene amount of societal power, is straight out just doing something inhumane. And the reason why is because what do you need all that power for if you're not benefiting and helping people constantly, right? If you're not benefiting the mass public at a concurrent rate that is, equivalent to the amount of power that you're amassing, right? So if I'm not, let's look at people like Mr. Beast, and I'm not saying he's doing this, but if you're not digging wells in Africa at the rate that you're creating, that you're getting money and revenue and understanding and all of a sudden connections, if you're not benefiting people's life at the exact same pace and rate that you are gaining all these things, you're not doing anything good with your power normally. Normally you're using your power to benefit yourself or direct connections, or you're using it to do inhumane acts. It's very rarely that somebody has all these things in all these places and is a good person. So there's no reason to be shocked about Diddy or any celebrity that you see coming out or anybody that has all these things because they have power. And that's just the system of what men are, especially here in America. The idea of men are people who are mostly inhumane people. We talk about from the existence when Americans first came over into this country, when they left England, the first acts they did upon this land were inhumane. The second acts they did upon the land were inhumane. The acts they did when they, started chattel slavery, inhumane. The acts that they did with you can name a point in American history, you can't tell me there wasn't something that was inhumane, that was humane about the process. So this isn't a place of humanity or a place of right or a place of, a place of, what's the word I'm looking for? I guess you would say moral values. America's not a place of moral values. It's not a place of moral upstandingness. So when we sit here and we think about things like, oh, Diddy is raping raping women. He's praying after young girls. Of course he is. He believes he's above the law, so he's gonna do whatever he wants. The psychological reasons behind it probably are as deep as a mile is long. We heard R. Kelly's reason behind it. I was a kid and I never got to have a childhood, and I was touched as a kid, so I'm attracted to kids. It could be that, or it could be that historically speaking, men in power have always been attracted to young youth. We're talking, we can go as far back as ancient Rome and ancient Greece, where people were having sex with young boys and young girls as almost 12. It used to literally be the biblical law that when a girl bleeds or when a woman bleeds, no matter what the age, she is prime and right for sex. So we have more than enough multiple examples to prove time and time again that this is this is a human desire, right? This is a human thing, and that humans in themselves are not always beneficially good, benevolent beings. That they have these inner innate desires and innate feelings, and that's why when you're also on the internet and you see people who are defending these people who have or showing or like not when you see people who are defending people like Diddy, who defended Bill Cosby, who defended R. Kelly, it's because when this happens, they visualize themselves in instances where they have done things that are inhumane or similar to their the inhumanity has now been expressed and they got away with it, or it's been passed over, or it was considered not something that was, as heinous. There are plenty of guys who will tell you they've had a training. How many of those girls do you think are drugged? How many of those girls do you think are paid? How many of those girls do you think are willing to do it? Don't get me wrong, there are women who are happy to do it, but it's not highly likely that every woman wants to do it. There are guys who tell you that, they'll be having sex with a girl and the bro will come slide in and he'll slide out and they'll never know. Well, that's rape. There are guys who will tell you that, oh man, I just told her 1,000 times, I just asked her, I told her, I asked her 1,000 times, she finally let me do it. Well, that's pressure. You're using your power over her to make her have sex. So there are guys who put themselves in this day and situation. They're normal people, not celebrities, who put themselves in these situations day in and day out, and they feel as if, wow, this is what I used to do, and that's quite similar to what he did. So how is what he did so wrong? On top of that, this man has some more things than I have. That's the mindset that they have because they feel like he has more than I have. He has way more than I have. He's way more successful than I am. He's way more intelligent than I am, which is another thing. A lot of people believe success is equated with intelligence. It is not. He's more powerful than I am, and he isn't getting away with it. So what's going to stop them from coming after me? And that's why they defend these people with such veracity and vigor, because they feel like if they don't defend these people with such veracity and vigor, then what happens is they're going to come for them eventually. So when they do come for them, it's going to be great. But don't be shocked. Don't be surprised. Don't be angry. Just keep note of who the people are that are defending these people. Keep note of who the individuals are who are doing these acts. And just always know that if a person has a mass amount of power and isn't showing a overall benevolent benefactor to society, they're normally doing something very evil with this power, because there's no reason to amass large amounts of wealth, large amounts of power, large amounts of land, large amounts of resources unless you are going to help the public. There's no other reason. And by that, what I mean is that, Elon Musk's family, let's just use him as an example, right? Because a lot of people used to think Elon Musk was like a technological savior god, but as more information come out, we start to, the tide and the pitch starts to turn. So more information on Elon Musk's family come out, and you find out that he owns this mine in Africa, and you know about blood mines, and you know about blood diamonds, and you know about child slaves and labor. And what you really start to realize is, wait a second, then you start digging further and realize Elon Musk didn't invent Tesla. He bought it from the original owners of it and told them they can never speak on it again. And then you're like, oh, well, what happened with Tesla? Tesla's a huge success. It wasn't at first when he was in control. When Elon Musk gave up control, it started to be successful. And that's the same thing that's happening to Twitter here. See, people thought Elon Musk was highly intelligent, highly well-driven, great guy, highly successful person. And it really turns out he just was a guy with money who made a couple of good investments and hired the intelligent people. He hired the right people. So what am I saying here is that you got another person like Elon Musk who has amassed tons of power, and he has tons of wealth, tons of notoriety, tons of connections. Who knows what the hell he's doing? We don't know yet. I'm betting you something's going to come out. And I'm betting you it's going to come out about a lot of these people who have all these things who aren't benefiting the whole of society. They're not benefiting the globe. So keep that in mind. Numberz isn't coming back probably. I don't know. We'll see. If I get another partner who wants to do more lighthearted things, then we'll go back to lighthearted things. Maybe I'll do a Christmas thing. Top 5 Christmas movies of all time would be a good one. But if not, this is how we're going to keep moving forward. We're going to be more serious, and we're going to be more direct, and we're going to be more real, more down to earth, and more honest. Because I think a part of the problem with the whole entire globe and society is that people don't call out things as much as they need to call them out. And they're afraid of offending people, they're afraid of upsetting people, but there is a right. Morality isn't something that doesn't exist. My father used to tell me this. He used to say, I don't know, for people who aren't inside this area, but if you're inside Detroit, Michigan, 8 Mile. And 8 Mile is this giant patch of freeway. Picture 8 roads, just 8 individual roads. And down 8 Mile, in the middle of these 8 roads are islands. And 4 of the roads go one direction, 4 of the roads go in the other direction. In the middle of these roads are like literally patches of rock and earth and dirt. And, they put trees on them on top of that and shit. And we call those the islands. And, they break them up so you can turn around in there. And he used to tell me all the time. He said, life is like walking down 8 Mile. He said, there's 4 lanes to the left and all that shit's wrong. There's 4 lanes to the right and all that shit's wrong. But right down the middle is where the right's at. And where the right's at is kind of hard to have conversations with people about, because a lot of people aren't living right. And they don't want to be judged about what is right and what is wrong. And I agree. Nobody should be judging people about what is right and what is wrong. But we should all have an idea of what it is. We should all have conversations about what it is. And we shouldn't go out on a witch hunt on it, but we should all definitely have reminders of it. So here's the reminder that people who amass some large amount of wealth and power and notoriety and connections and stuff normally are not good people. It's very, very rare that they are. Peace.